Good morning. Happy Sunday. I hope you've had a good weekend so far. Apologies for yesterday. It seems like maybe the streaming didn't go through. So if you had showed up and there was nobody there, I do apologize, but the video is available still. It's on my feed or on YouTube. So if you want me to share that link with you to recording of all the videos, they're all up on my YouTube channel as well. So check that out if you missed any of the past 13 days. Can't believe we're halfway through the month of November so far. How are you doing through this second version of lockdown? If you're in England or if you're in America, going through all the election stuff and getting through all of that. I know it's been quite stressful for a lot of people, so wanted to check in with you on that. And then since yesterday seems like it didn't really go through that video, I thought we'd continue the conversation about shoulders, because yesterday I was saying a couple people have approached me and said they really have problems with their shoulders, and I think that might be the case for a lot of people since we're spending a lot more time at our desks and not necessarily moving from home to work as much as we might have used to before everything happened. So that means that maybe we're just not having an opportunity to move around, move our shoulders as much, and what can result is, you get stiff, frozen shoulders and all kinds of other maybe neck-related problems. My husband came home yesterday and he had a bad neck. So these couple of videos are really for those issues. We're going to start in standing today. So come and find a little place to stand. And just a little disclaimer that if you've been watching my videos and you're like, oh, that's not the Pilates that I've experienced before. My work is really influenced by a lot of the other workshops that I've taken, especially Franklin method. So if you're kind of liking the anatomy-based stuff, then check out the Franklin method, because there's some really cool stuff that you can get into there. So this actually comes, this first part comes from some of the Franklin method work that I've done. And you're just going to take a moment to close your eyes. And again, just let your, you want to take these first few moments to let your thoughts kind of settle here in on your body. No matter what's gone on yesterday or the past week, see if you can just take a moment, set that to the side, and really start to notice how you're feeling today in your body, what your energy levels are like, what your emotion is like today. Maybe you're feeling grumpy, maybe you're feeling happy, uplifted. Just check in. Maybe you can take a little note of anything that comes up for you. And then just bringing your attention and your awareness onto your shoulders. Start to just allow them to lift up towards the ears and back down. Notice how this is feeling for you. What is it like to just start moving your shoulders? And just relax the shoulders, maybe just move the head from side to side. Again, just checking in. We need to know where we're starting from. If we're going to start to make improvements, you need to know where your beginning mark was, so that you can say, oh yeah, I feel a lot better, or actually that movement wasn't so good. Maybe I should avoid that in the future. And then come to center and just open your eyes. How was that for you? So we're going to now have some movement of the shoulders, so kind of going up and down. You can bring your arms forward and slide your shoulders back and forth. You could swing your arms up and down. Again, just kind of noticing, what does that feel like? And I'm going to give you some ideas of movement. So what if it was heavy, awful, painful shoulders that you had, and you didn't want to move them because they were stiff and they felt full of pain, full of just parts that didn't move really well. And every time you looked to the right or the left, you felt that your neck was stiff and painful. And just notice that actually that inhibits quite a lot of movement of the shoulders from happening in the neck. And you just kind of want to stay still and in this little space where you feel comfortable and safe because you're not having to move. You've got these negative ideas about how your shoulders are. But what if we were to shift that and to think about your shoulders in a different way? What if they were light, they were airy, they were soft, they were just slippery and easy to move? What if your neck is actually one of the most mobile places in your body, the most mobile part of your spine. So if you thought about that, actually there's a lot of potential for movement through your neck. And you just started to move around with those ideas, kind of just noticing and taking, being aware of, now actually, it feels good to move because I know that my shoulders have this lightness, this airiness, and this slipperiness about them. Just kind of notice the difference just with changing your thoughts about the movement can have on your shoulders. And then you're going to start to lift and lower your arm. Just do one side and compare it to the other. So we're going to do a little bit of work on your right side to start with. And you're going to imagine that you've got a balloon attached to your thumb that's just floating really easily your arm up into space, up towards the ceiling. And then gently allow that balloon to take it back down. Maybe you want to give that balloon a color and just imagine that it's gently floating your arm up into space and then floating it back down. Nice and gentle, nice and easy. One more time with that balloon idea, just floating your arm all the way up. And then imagine that a gust of wind has come and now it's blowing your arm up into space, up towards the ceiling. And you could just get a little bit more movement. Of course, only do this if this is pain-free for your shoulder. You can let that movement come down into your knees, translate into your spine. But just imagine, it's not you doing that, it's your gust of wind. And maybe even now you could think of your arm getting a little bit longer as you're moving it. Nice deep breaths as you're going. Just do that a couple more times. Yeah. Nice. And then just let that slowly come to a pause. And again, just notice what's that side feeling like compared to the other. For me, it feels like that arm has gotten a little bit longer. Maybe you can see for me that's actually lowered that shoulder a little bit. And I feel a lot more light and spaciousness through that right shoulder. So another way that we can just start to bring our awareness, our brain's awareness to our body is by just doing some tapping. So we've done some tapping before, but we really just want to wake up our brain to, all these different proprioceptors that allow us to know where we are in space and give us feedback about our environment. We just want those to be switched on so that our shoulder and our arm can be placed in the best position in the body as possible. So give yourself a little tap and then start to brush off your arm, brush off your shoulder, all the way down to your hand and give it a good old shake. Now notice that side compared to the other one. Try lifting that arm up compared to the other side. That one doesn't want to go quite as easy. So again, just a little bit of movement, just a little bit of changing our thoughts regarding our shoulder can make a huge difference in the function and just the way that our body is holding itself. Notice you're not having to change and think about your posture. It's just like sitting more easily on top of your ribs now, at least mine is. So let's try the same with the other side. You're going to start to think of a little balloon attached to your thumb. It's floating that arm up and down. Is your balloon the same color on this side, or has it changed colors? Just allowing for that easy floating up, the gentle setting back down. And then you can imagine that that gust of wind has come along. That's swooshing your arm up towards the ceiling and back down. Just allowing for a bit of movement to come through the rest of the body as well, if that feels good for you. Again, keep this movement in a range that feels good for your body. Nice big deep breaths as you're moving. Now you can imagine that that arm's going to get a little bit longer down towards the floor as you're swinging it. Just breathing. Beautiful. And then slowly just let that arm come to swing to a stop. Again, just taking a moment to notice now, how does that feel compared to when you started? And then just have a little tap all around that shoulder, so underneath the armpit, back onto the shoulder blade, up towards the collarbone, top of the arm, the elbow, forearm, hand, and then just give it a nice little brush off. So if you had a fine layer of dust that you were trying to get off of your arm, and then give it a good old shake. Whew, nice. So how does that feel for you now? I mean, we haven't really done anything crazy, but just notice, I mean, there's a big lightness now. You know, I talked about having this lightness of the shoulders, but I can actually really feel and embody that now that I've done this bit of movement. So before we move on to coming down to the mat, I just wanted to give you a little picture, a literal picture of what your scapula, what your shoulder blade actually looks like. So here's a little picture I just printed out from the internet. It's nothing fancy, but you can see there's a little spinous process there. This is actually, you know, this would be sitting on my shoulder on this side. Just back here, there we go. You know, it's probably a little bit smaller than my shoulder blade actually is, but that's where it would be sitting on my back. And that's what it looks like, the shape. You know, you can just see what the shape is like. A lot of people don't even realize what this bone looks like. So I wanted to give you a little picture of that. And then we just want to think about how the shoulder blade can move. So we can, I will put this on this side. Yeah, I don't know which side would best work on. Maybe I'll put it here just so you can see your shoulder blade slides up and then it slides back down. This is where it'd be sitting on the back of my body, of course. Slides up and slides down. It can slide together and then slide apart. So if you take your arms in front of you, you can feel how you can reach your arms forward and the shoulder blades are sliding apart. Let me get my other little shoulder blade here. I have to turn them around. I know I'm not doing very well here. So up, down, together, and apart. And then there's this little bit of rotation that happens when you lift your arm up. So that you get this little bit of a turning in, kind of up into your armpit when you lift up your arm. So just try that for yourself. Just close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your shoulder blades sliding up your back and sliding back down. You can imagine the shape, that little spinous process on the top. You can imagine as you reach your arms forward, the shoulder blades sliding apart and then sliding back together. And then we've already done this movement with your little balloon attached. You lifted your arms up over your head. There's this little bit of rotation that goes on through the shoulder blade as you lift your arms up and then take them back down. So we're going to do all those movements, but on our hands and knees now. So come on down to your mat and come onto spreading out your hands right underneath your shoulders. Really get a sense that you could find the middle part of your shoulder and put your palm there. And then all you're going to do to begin with is just kind of start to turn your wrists, turn your arms around your wrists. So you can get a real sense of, you know, you've got these bones that connect up into your shoulder blades. starting from your fingers, and the bones actually affect the movement of your shoulders as well. These bones of the arms, when you start moving them, they start moving the shoulder blades a little bit. So now align these bones over your wrists. Try to get your inside of your elbows kind of looking towards the the diagonal corner of your mat. And then feel what that does for the shoulders. So I just noticed that that helps me to really kind of slide my shoulder blades apart a little bit. And then all I'm going to do is start to really push the floor away so that I feel those shoulder blades sliding apart even more. And then if I just let myself sink down, I'll sink in between my shoulder blades and they'll start to come together. So I'm not bending my spine to allow that to happen. I'm keeping my spine really long and straight from the crown of my head out through my tail. And I'm moving my shoulder blades around my body, around my spine, because my arms are staying fixed in place so that my shoulder blades, they don't actually have to do any work here. It's my spine that's moving up and down. So just notice what that's like for you. Again, not moving with pain here, keeping that as pain-free as possible. And just do that one more time. And then go ahead and press yourself back. Give yourself a little stretch and really feel your hands into your, connecting into your armpits to stretch them out. And then come back forward. And now we're just going to do a little bit of rotation of that shoulder blade. So let's take the left hand, start to bring it up and over the head, reach that arm forward, and then place it back down. Notice that all your limbs that are on the floor are going to keep you stable, and we're just moving the shoulder blade in this little bit of rotation along the back of the body. So notice what that's like in this position, and then try the other side. So now again, your body is the fixed point, and it's just your shoulder blade and your arm that are moving. So notice what that's like for you. Do that one more time. Sit back just for a moment. Give your wrists, give your arms, give your shoulders a little break. And then come back up. And you're going to start to, let's come onto your belly now, because this is a really nice place to feel the movement of the shoulder blades up towards the ears and back down. So if you place your hands right next to your rib cage, you can feel how your shoulders and your elbows move the shoulder blades up and down the back of your body. Get a real sense of that sliding and gliding movement of the shoulder blades as they come up and come down. They're like slippery bars of soap that could move you. And you can feel how this sliding, this gliding, it would be sudsing up those soap bars on the back of your rib cage and giving them a good old wash, a good old scrub. Let's do that a couple more times. And then let's spread out the arms and go back to this idea of actually moving the arms, how that has effect on the shoulder blades as well. So notice if you leave your elbows heavy and you just lift up your hands and your forearms away from the floor, you'll get this little bit of movement down of the shoulder blades. Just feel that for yourself. Notice that you could lift the arms, lift the elbows, start to reach your arms forward, and then bend them again and place the elbows back on the floor. So you're keeping your chest or your nose just slightly lifted so you're not smushing your face. You lift up through your forearms, lift up through your elbows, reach your arms ahead, and then bring that back down. Let's just do that one more time so you can really feel this kind of full range of movement of the shoulder blade. Good. All right. Press yourself back into your child's pose again. Just maybe really reaching and stretching with the shoulders up towards the ears. Big deep breath and then exhale. Just let your arms come around and rest by your sides. Maybe you're resting your forehead onto the ground just to give your shoulders and your head and your neck a nice little break. Okay, so we're saving the breathing aspect till the end here, or to the middle bit, I should say. So get yourself some cushions, whatever you need to make yourself comfortable lying on your back. I might even lie here with this nice bolster underneath my knees. Get whatever you need to make yourself really comfortable, because we're going to spend a bit more time on our breathing and meditation aspect today, because it's Sunday, and I feel like I'd like a little bit more relaxation on a Sunday, especially since it's raining and horrible weather outside. So if you want to turn your lights down, do whatever you want to make your space feel really calming and really comfortable for you, and then come to lying down. Just let your arms rest by your sides, placing your legs in a comfortable position for you. Your head's in a comfortable position. Just begin to allow the eyes to close and take some big, deep breaths. Just starting to really be aware now of your shoulder blades resting onto the mat behind you. See if you can really allow them to be spacious and spread out onto your mat. Letting your arms just be heavy onto the mat. Letting your breath just beginning to fill every crevice of the back of the body. So we talked about this before, how your tissues of the lungs are actually, there's a lot of tissue there. If you spread it all out, it would be the equivalent of the size of a tennis court. So most of that tissue actually is at the back of the body. Start to see if you can really breathe into all the tissue of the lung that is settled now onto your mat. Feeling how your shoulder blades support your rib cage, which supports the tissue of the lungs. No weight of gravity that you have to work against here. You can just breathe those full deep breaths into every tissue of the lungs. Every other part of the body can just relax and be still and be held in this space. Feel all the muscles at the crown of the head starting to relax. All the muscles of the face, the eyebrows, the eyeballs, the nose, the lips, any muscle around those areas that feel like they're holding on, just let them release and relax. The area around the jaw, maybe you want to move your jaw side to side, give it a little release. Any areas around the ears or the back of the head that feel like they are tense or holding on, just ask them, see if they would allow you to let go of any resistance so that you could just relax. All the muscles through the back of the neck, the front of the neck, through the chest, and through those shoulders that we've just moved. Through the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, and the hands. Let every muscle just relax. Through the upper abdomen and belly, up through the spinal column, feel its lovely curves, relaxing into that mat. The upper back, the mid back, the lower back. The curves of the back of your pelvis, your buttocks. All those muscles through the front of the hips, just let them relax. Let the thighs relax, front and back. The knees, the lower legs. And finally, just letting the feet stretch out and be relaxed. Just breathing. Bringing your awareness now back to your breath, coming in through the nose. See if now if you can allow it to go out through the nose as well. letting the breath be gentle and easy, calming all physical activity, calming all mental activity, so that you can take 5 minutes now to focus exclusively on your breath. If you want to count from 1 to 10, and then start back over at 1 again with your counting of your breath, that can be quite useful. We'll start that 5 minutes of silence now. And just gently and slowly begin to bring your awareness back into the space around you. You keep your eyes closed. Begin to move your fingers and your wrists, your ankles, maybe circling them around. Maybe you want a full body stretch here. And then roll gently over onto the side. Slowly bringing yourself up to seated. And then just taking your time to allow the eyes to open. Bringing yourself back into your Sunday, into whatever plans you have for the day. Thanks for joining me again. Hopefully that really helped you to kind of just be aware now a little bit more of the function of the shoulder, all the different ways it can move, and how just shifting your thoughts about its movement and how it feels can really shift the way that your body does feel throughout the day. We'll be looking, more deeply into this kind of thing in my 10-week program. There's a lot more work that we can do to really help your whole body to feel great, not just one part, but the whole of your body and your mind to feel revitalized and to feel like you're able to access that ease of movement more easily, rather than it being difficult or something that you just find once a month or once a year or something like that. It can be something that you're continuously able to come back to. I will see you back here tomorrow morning, 7:30. Have a great day, guys, and look after yourselves. All right, bye.